Thank you very much. I have been given a tough task to comment on Dr. Augustine's, what I would say that he really showed us the mirror. We need to realize what the state of affairs are and what we can do. And being in the industry, we go through these things on an everyday basis, and we try to see where the problems are. I'm involved in academics plus practicing engineers, and also involved with some task force. So my goal was to see what I can bring special perspective here, how we can see where is the interface missing between different areas. And I see students, or what you call K to 12, and then obviously higher education, college education, and also after that you go to industry, private sector, public sector. So there are a lot of areas, and those are some things we are doing as a part of STEM task force and trying to develop some recommendations. But thank you very much, and congratulations, Dr. Augustine. You really put forward very, very interesting facts and statistics. And I don't think there's anything or any way we can deny those. We just have to work through them and go on. And as you said very rightly, this is a basically this is a nanotechnology era. We cannot afford to have those ads in Washington Post like "Don't study engineering." And going back to STEM, I think the E in STEM is very, very critical, which is, I think, is misplaced. It should be at the end. My belief is that science, engineering, technology, and mathematics is the key drivers to bring you towards the engineering, which is one of the goals and one of the area. So E is very critical in this STEM acronym, what we use. And I cannot stress anymore what you have stressed already, that how important is engineering and how importance we should give it to that. As a part of this task force, gathering some data, and we came across some very interesting facts that STEM task force is, and Britt mentioned some of those statistics in his speech this morning, that we are about 40% shortage in engineering and other STEM-related disciplines. And just to put it into numbers, I think for every one job in state of Maryland, I'm talking about, everyone graduate, we have 1.56 jobs available. So you can see we have about shortage of 40% in all those fields, and that is the bridge we need to gap, and we need to see how we can overcome. As a practicing engineer, we need engineers to support our work on an everyday basis. And we end up hiring from Ohio, from Texas, from Canada, from India, from Pakistan, all those areas, because we just don't find local talent here. And we talked about those things during our group discussions several times, that what are the factors which are affecting this area and why we are unable to get to the goals. So it's very, very critical that we work on those goals, and we come across these, overcome these shortages. And civil engineering, environmental engineering, some biotech area, IT, and there are several other areas which are all related to STEM. And obviously, STEM teaching is another area which is very, very critical, where we have shortfall. So if you, and I would go back to the chicken and egg issue again, that it's really, I would change it from chicken or egg. I think it is chicken and egg, and we really need both. We need prosperity, and we need degrees, we need engineering. So we need to change our goal. And I think not looking back, but looking forward, the more chicken you have, the more eggs you can do, and vice versa. So we need to really seriously think about that. And one of my thinking is that there is a little lack of communication, and I'm more talking about from the perspective of my experience in private sector, the gap or lack of communication between the industry and the schools or education or academics. I talked to chair of the civil engineering department here, and I talked to folks at other engineering schools here all the time. And the issue always comes that the budgets are restricted. We have, let's say, 50 students registered, and we need 200 students every year. How is that 150 gap going to cover? I mean, obviously, we'll be bringing people from out of state. They come here not really belonging to the area and try to go out or go back. So there are a lot of issues in that, how we can overcome. But I think the industry needs to talk to the educators, and Brett is here, and obviously, I'm sure you are involved in those things. And one of the recommendations among the STEM task force was to do some kind of a center, like maybe virtual or a real physical center to evaluate these needs on every year basis, and then see what area needs shortage and how we can overcome in next few years. Because we don't want to graduate in one field and then increase the quantity and then we go back. So it has to be continuous, a living target basically. We have to continuously look into those areas. So lack of communication between industry and educators is something I think we need to address a little bit more on that. And I would like to mention one thing which is very critical, at least in my experience, is the internships and training. And training from the perspective of, when we see all those computers, you mentioned very good example, to turn your computer off, you have to click the start button. And I also always see that sticker says Intel inside. That sticker does not excite the students until you show them how that is made, who makes it, and how we actually use it. So the practical, I think hands-on training is very, very critical to get them attracted, and particularly at the school level. One of the dilemma I think we face at college level, we do get some paid internships. Industry is willing to pay because they do get some of their time utilized in performing some of the services they would like. But in high school, particularly high school graduates or just students to be graduate, they have some issue, so they really want to make sure that their state and other agencies come up with some kind of funding, and high school students can really see the real perspective in that situation. One of the other area is the salary, I think, disparity between the academics, between the industry and the interns. So those areas need to be looked at also. I think innovations have to be rewarded. There is no doubt about that. It has to be, you see the small industries, small businesses, they do a lot of innovations, but sometimes they don't get rewarded, so I think they need to be rewarded also. And we need to make education affordable. That's another challenge. A lot of students don't go to higher education for the same reason, and they can't make that thing up. One more area which Dr. Augustine also touched is the women engineers, and I personally feel that we do lack a lot of participation from women in that area. How we can expedite that and how we can increase that is very critical, because engineering is not that something is the only profession, but one of the very interesting professions I can see. My wife is a physician, she's here with me too, and I sometimes have an argument with her that if you make a mistake, you can maybe affect one patient, but if an engineer makes a mistake, it can affect maybe dozens or hundreds of people. So we cannot afford to have that. But there is no competition going on here, But one last thing before I leave you with a little story is somebody asked a soldier, what is the morale? And he said, sir, I don't know what exactly it is, but we keep it here. And I think we need to keep STEM here too, and we really need to work about that. Thank you for listening to me, and appreciate it.